I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and it's 1 o'clock at night. I'm making this video for a reason and gonna put it up. I'm pretty sick right at the moment, and I think the doctor was very right about a bladder infection I have. Some other things happened the other day. I probably wouldn't have pieced it together except for a phone call I got tonight. Back May the 6th of 2013, I was living at Quality Inn up on Third Lane Road. And this person I had met on the Appalachian Trail, and my understanding that he had volunteered to help with rides for me, and possibly he was a policeman. I know he worked with the police. So I don't know where his involvement went with this. But he would take me to pick my groceries up at times and take me up when things got so bad and I had to go camping. He would help sometimes. I realize now, though, that I think there was a U.S. Marshal getting him to help me, too. Okay, if I can keep this together tonight, because this has not been an easy time for me. Anyway, this specifically night, May the 6th, he brought me back. He picked me up. I got some groceries. He brought me back, and he always left. He never sat down or anything. I didn't invite him to sit down ever. Anyway, he lived on Windsor Street. I won't give his name. Windsor's my last name. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and kidnapped and brought over here in 41 and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. The twins' name was Dempsey, Peggy Ann. The twins were murdered by their mother, and I was placed there. And grew up and found out about my name and wrote a book and ended up here in Roanoke. And I want to mention Larry Flint. He was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, by a program shooter, and I was writing about mind control murders and the Tesla files, where people can be programmed to do anything the programmer wants them to. And you can cure illnesses or create them. So you can commit murders with cancer, etc., or make it appear as suicide. And who's to prove it? It's done through mind control. Now, I want to get back to this. I'm living there, and that night, March the 6th of 2013, this person I'm speaking of, we stopped by Bojangles, and I remember there was no one in there except a policeman and a black lady and her little son, and I thought he was so cute. I said something to her and to him, and we left and brought the food back. And I'm not sure he got anything, but he got a drink. But anyway, came back, came in, put the groceries down, and he's supposed to leave. He got to the door, and I had my phone there on the desk. And instead of leaving, he pulled the little ottoman it was under, and he pulled it out, and he sat there and looked at me. And he picked up my phone, and I don't remember if I told him to put it back, because I don't like people touching my phone for obvious reasons. Anyway, he said to me, he still looked at the phone, and he said to me, do you want to drink the rest of your Coke? And I said, well, yes. And he handed it to me, and I took a couple of sips, and I looked at him. And I've put this up before. Rather than the person that I should have seen sitting there, his face was round. It was really odd. And his hair looked parted in the middle. It was scary, but about that time I didn't know anything else. I went out. So, like a light, So the next remembrance I have is him coming out of the bathroom and leaving, walking out the door, and I'm sitting upright. So I still had my street clothes on and everything. Oh, as far as I can remember, I'm sitting on the edge of that bed. He leaves. And I thought I was really drugged. I was disoriented and everything. And I went to the see what time it was. Have a radio like this that I have here. And it was 3:30 in the morning. I thought, my God, what was he still doing here? And where's my time gone? So anyway, on Monday, that was on a Friday, May the 6th. And by the way, the DBJ reporter who did get the video I sent, and it was taken off that I'm about to talk about, he got in trouble and was charged on something I knew he didn't do. He was a good reporter. And he's gone from Channel 7, and the charges were finally dropped. It was a lie. I know it was. It was because he was trying to help me. Anyway, he was covering the story. Anyway, okay, let me get back to this. That night, just prior to that Friday night, and me being whatever happened to me and taken out of the room and everything, drugged. The next Monday, the woman who was manager there told me to look at my phone, and I said, "Why?" She said, the video you had up there is not on there now. I had a video that I'd sent to Channel 7, and it was about the mold and mildew and all that in the room and how bad the toxic fumes. I'm allergic to chemicals, and right now I've got a bladder infection that's really bad, and my ears I can't hear. I still have it. I've had it for a year, because I can't go and find a place to stay. My whereabouts is controlled. And they can say what they want to. I hope I live that all this has to be told. So I have sucked in, have a heart condition from it, and God knows how my lungs and now my kidneys have a bacterial infection there, and that's what's still in my ears. I can hardly hear. And when I watch TV, it's garbled. Now back to this. She knew that video was gone. So the guy I'm talking about lived on Windsor Street that night with my phone. He deleted it. He also drugged me. And I remember that there's a person here in this town that had just hired an investigator. I'm not going to go further because it gets into the mind control murders, and they have a lot of power. They can do what they want to. Now, they should be thanking me, but that's not the case. Now then, the video was gone, and I knew who I think was the investigator this family hired was standing there a couple of mornings when I'd go in. They had a little breakfast and I'd come back, and he'd be there. He lived through the hallway on the other side from my room, and he would wave and do like this, like he was stopping me. I thought, well, is he nuts or what? He was the person, I'm sure, that helped the guy that lived on Windsor. I should tell his name. I think I have back in a lot of these videos. Anyway, he was the one that helped. They took me to a clinic, and I'm not going to mention it. I think I may have in the past, because the clinic actually called me, and it was after hours, and they called me more than once. It was at least twice, if not 3 times, and said, well, we were happy to have you over here, but we didn't charge you for it. It was after hours. And I've forgotten the rest. It wasn't that much she said. She gave me her name. I even called back, and it was the right number and everything. It was the clinic, and it connects with this family. And the person that I totally believe was their investigator they hired, that in essence abducted me and drugged me and took me to this clinic. And yes, I know who it was. So the clinic, and thank God they called me, more than once, and said we didn't charge you for it. So something happened anyway. I call, there's a U.S. Marshal I can call. He's FBI and Marshal. His name's Robert. And that's the last time I ever talked to him, was right after then. And I said, Robert, the time lapse and all that happened to me, he already knew. And I said, I thought they took me there to give me truth serum and find out what I knew about these murders, because I've said that I have proof here that if you put it up on TV, these are mind control murders and they're done in patterns. But what I had, that was what they were after. I thought they gave me truth serum to see what I had here. And so anyway, Robert called, or I called Robert. I had a number to call, and they'd answer Dylan, like on Gunsmoke, Marshall Dillon. But they'd answer Dylan, and they would get him, and he'd call me back. And that's the last time I spoke with him. And I said, Robert, did they give me truth serum? And he said, no, it's what they put in you. I'm not sure that he said up in me, but it's what they put in you. So recently something happened. I'm not going to say on here. My life, I realize people, even today, can do such dastardly things with a phone call. I do need to put this up, though, and the person will know who I'm directing it to. She would have had to have been there when it happened. She would have. So I'm not going to go any further because they stuck something up in me, and I don't know. I wouldn't have remembered it if I hadn't, or pieced it together, because something about 2 months ago happened that, so there's more people know it than she thinks. And the whole thing is, I've been through this, and it's appalling, very appalling that someone can look you in the face